Hey, welcome into Movement Parallels Life for another natural movement practice. And I've got a great workout lined out for us today. We're going to start off with a warm-up series. Then we'll get into the primary series, which is going to consist of 7 different movements, and we'll complete 2 rounds. We'll finish up with some gentle movements, some light stretching in the recovery phase. As always, our focus is going to be on mindfulness and quality of movement. Make any modifications to the movements so you can ensure that your movements are strong and stable. Approach the work progressively. Take the time to get to know each of the movements and then begin to dial up the intensity. As you can see, we're already into the workout today. We're starting with rock-ups and seated stretches. The rocking action is a really nice way to massage the muscles of the back as well as gain a greater awareness of the articulation of the spine. Rock up to a seated position, sit strong and tall. From there, begin to find the stretches that work best for you by reaching at different angles. Next, we'll transition to a knee-hand position for rotation reaches. To begin, I'm going to flex into my rotation, almost like a forward roll. And I'm going to place my hand lightly behind my head and draw myself open, extend and rotate. As you start to create more space and feel the opening of the thoracic spine, you can extend the arm and explore the full arc of your reach. We'll transition and begin exploring those rotation reaches, this time from a kneeling position. You can add variety to this action by kneeling low or kneeling tall, kneeling with flat feet or flexed feet. Begin to expand the range of motion of your reach, or even start to incorporate some spinal extension or back bending in some of your reaching. Take care to not force your body. Don't push too far, too fast. Approach these movements with a kind of relaxed strength. Use your breathing to manage any resistance or tension you feel arise in some of these positions. From kneeling, we'll make a transition into deep knee bending and knee circles. We'll be doing some jumping in today's practice, so this is a great way to warm up the feet, ankles, knees, and hips and get ready for those dynamic efforts. Final element on our warm-up series today, we're going to transition from a foot hand crawl to a deep squat into an inverted crawl. Spend time rocking and shifting your body weight as you continually rotate around these positions. That will bring us to the end of the warm-up series. This is a great chance to just check in with the body. If you're feeling strong and your energy levels are high, let's continue on to the primary series. We'll perform each of the 7 movements in the primary series for about 1 minute, and we'll go through for 2 rounds. We're going to start off with side bent sit switches. Keep your core brace strong and swing your legs around to create the momentum for a smooth and dynamic switch. Our next pattern, rolling get-ups. Use the rocking action from the warm-up series. Add power and momentum to transition from the rock into the squat position and then up to standing. Next up, cross squats for a nice blend of mobility, stability, and strength. You can add variation to this pattern by adjusting your stance, adding different degrees of rotation, or pausing at different points in the movement. Make your way up to standing and begin bouncing. Next up, we've got jump patterning. This round is all about light, quick jumps and also developing sound landing mechanics. You can incorporate single leg swing jumps, square landings, and split landings. Keep cycling around these different patterns and use your bounce for active rest. Next, we're going to slow things down, work strength and control with the tripod get up, and we're going to add in a shoulder pulse. Start from a stable stance, hinge, plant the hand, shift the weight forward, and the same side leg is going to pass underneath the body. Hold that tripod position and pulse through the shoulder. Can transition from your final tripod into a seated position and back to your rocking action. This time we're going to rock up and stall in a V-sit. Keep a tight tucked position as you rock and rotate, and then when the timing is right, rock up, stall on your hips, and hold a V-sit position. You can start with bent legs and then begin to challenge yourself further by straightening the legs. Let's move into our final element of the primary series. This is going to be a sequence that'll take us through a kneeling get up, into a tuck jump, and then into a sprawl. That brings us to the end of round one. You can take some time to catch your breath, get some water, recover. If you need a little extra time, feel free to pause the video and give yourself 2 or 3 minutes. We're back and we're in it for round 2, starting back with side bend sit switches. Keep the core tight and try to make those switches quick. Transition into rolling get-ups. You can use either the squat variation or the figure 4 variation. Transition out of the rock with power and stand up strong. Finish it standing, transition into cross squats. Explore your range of motion, challenge your stability and strength. Up to standing and transitioning into jump patterning. Keep it moving, use your quick bounce, your lateral swing jumps, square landings, and split landings. Settle down from those jumps, get rooted, and transition into your tripod get up and shoulder pulses. Transition to the ground, back into your rocking pattern. Rock up and stall in your V-sit. Might be getting a little tough here, but just one more element today. The kneeling get up, tuck jump, sprawl sequence. Good effort. That's time. We're moving right away into the recovery series. Just settling into a comfortable seated or kneeling position and focus on calming your breath. In this recovery phase, feel free to bring in any gentle movements or light stretching that is going to work best for you after today's practice. You can follow along with me. I'm just going to transition into some light spinal articulation. My emphasis here is going to be on relaxation and letting go of any excess tension. Next, I'll transition into half kneeling stretching. transitioning out of the half kneel and into a forward fold. In my forward fold, I'm going to begin to sway side to side and start exploring these relaxed trunk circles. And I'll bring my practice to a close with just a little deep squatting and hinging. And I'll also say thank you for taking the time to move with me today. This has just been a simple conditioning workout, not too many cues, not too many complex transitions. But I hope you'll take away a few new movements and a deeper understanding of how they work for your body. You can come back to this practice at any time and check out the links in the video description for my other offerings. Once again, thank you so much for supporting Movement Parallels Life, and I'll see you in the next video.